The 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada are set to go into effect.
The United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend.
You know, to the president, I'm a different type of cat. I'll fight tooth and nail. I'm not going to roll over and...
Some Canadian coffee shops are responding by changing the name of the Americano drink to Canadiano.
Are people nervous? Yeah, they're nervous because of President Trump. We roll over as a country and just let him run over us, or we fight like hell, like we've never fought before. I'm taking option 2.
Since the very first day of Donald Trump's presidency, he's been threatening sweeping tariffs against Canada and Mexico.
We will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens.
Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight.
I will go out. He has no idea. He has absolutely no idea.
He bargained, he stalled, he stepped back.
President Trump saying he'll delay 25% tariffs on Mexico. This afternoon, a 30-day delay on tariffs against Canada, too, after Canada's prime minister said he will also beef up border security following President Trump's tariff threat.
Until this moment.
U.S. President Donald Trump's punishing tariffs are now in force.
What he wants is to see a total collapse of the Canadian economy, because that'll make it easier to annex us.
Now, his long-standing pledge of 25% tariffs on nearly all Canadian goods is coming to life. President Trump's plan is rolling out.
We've been doing everything we can, not only our federal government, but all of the subnational governments, to try to avoid this outcome. We, as you heard, we've been working on the border, and we've been putting up drones, putting up helicopters, putting up more personnel. We've been very successful in stopping people from coming across the border from the United States. We've been stopping.
But was this always about securing the border? Or is there a larger game at play?
We are looking at potential shutdown of things like auto plants, a lot of manufacturers across the country. Look, the auto sector is concentrated in Ontario, and it's highly integrated with what we see in Ohio and Detroit and elsewhere, places where the Americans make parts and automobiles. We trade parts back and forth. But manufacturing across the country is also deeply integrated with the United States.
I don't think this country's ever seen anything like we're seeing right now. Now, the tariffs, as you know, will start a week earlier than the reciprocal, which is going to be on a couple of weeks earlier. Reciprocal tariffs start on April 2nd.
President Trump's strategy is underway. But what's the impact? What's driving him? Why act now? How severe will the damage be? And why are we so sure this is only the start?
But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States.
Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
President Trump just responding to Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, writing this on Truth Social, quote, "Please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount."
Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
He made a selfish move today, and he called the President of the United States dumb.
Actually, this reaction in Canada has mostly to do with the constant barbs that Trump is throwing at Trudeau, who's still in power for another 22 days. A very negative relationship there. And it's just gotten worse because Trudeau has been putting out posts while he's in Europe, stirring up anti-Trump sentiment.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau today said that Donald Trump is trying to cripple the Canadian economy in order to annex it. What do you say to that?
Total collapse of the Canadian economy, because that'll make it easier to annex us.
Justin Trudeau is running the end of his term, and I don't really want to think about the ridiculous things he's said in the last couple of days. It's sad. It's time for him to go, and let's move on and have a new government in Canada.
These guys never liked each other, and Trudeau has nothing to lose. He's been basically kicked out by his party, so he's just in his last days.
In Canada, Parliament was prorogued from January 6, 2025 until March 24, 2025, following Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's announcement of his resignation as both Liberal Party leader and Prime Minister, effective once a new leader is chosen.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
After his resignation announcement on January 6th, Trudeau requested and received approval from Governor-General Mary Simon to prorogue Parliament, effectively suspending all legislative activity.
Now, he's resigning just days before he was having a caucus meeting where his own Liberal MPs were going to demand that he resign. So he's preempting them. But he's doing a sneaky move, Charlie. In a parliamentary system like Canada has, in Parliament, that's our version of Congress, the ordinary MPs, members of Parliament, can vote no confidence and bring the government down and force an election. So Trudeau has asked the Governor-General, that's the King's representative in Canada, to dissolve Parliament. It's called proroguing.
This move ensures that during this period, Trudeau cannot be ousted by a confidence vote in the House of Commons, as no parliamentary sessions or votes can occur while Parliament is prorogued. Additionally, while Parliament is suspended, the government retains its executive authority, meaning Trudeau and his cabinet can continue to govern and, if necessary, implement emergency powers under existing legislation, such as the Emergencies Act, without immediate parliamentary oversight, provided such actions align with their legal mandate. This strategic pause buys time for the Liberal Party to select a new leader while shielding the government from opposition attempts to trigger an early election.
So not only did Trudeau not really resign today, he's kicked the can down the road almost 3 months, but he's dissolved Parliament so no House of Commons business can happen, no bills can be passed, no question period where people scrutinize the government. He's not letting MPs have a vote of no confidence. So in a way, he's suspended democracy just to give himself 3 more months of power and perks.
Because there's no leadership in Canada at the federal level, there's no active prime minister that's relevant. It's a void. And so what's occurred is all of the premiers of the different provinces that have different agendas. Ontario's different than Alberta, for example. They're the giant behemoths in terms of economies, and Saskatchewan for energy as well. They're down with their teams trying to focus on a new deal, if you want to call it NAFTA 3. There's a slight chance this whole thing gets punted till April 2nd after the report comes out on the impact of tariffs on Canada and Mexico. But this nationalism in Canada is the noise. It's not the signal.
I thought that that was what the U.S. president wanted. And to see this escalation is so disappointing, so damaging, initially to American consumers and American businesses who buy Canadian goods and raw materials. But then now with the counter tariffs, it's also going to be harmful to Canadian consumers. No one wins a tariff war.
It's a completely integrated economy. This is going to cause massive problems on both sides of the border, but a bigger problem for us. Doesn't matter what the prime minister or any premier tells you, we are going to feel the pain harder than the Americans will.
Are there varying levels of appetite to retaliate within some of the premiers in Canada?
I've already said that we're not going to retaliate on energy. That is such an essential product for American consumers and American businesses. We want to make sure that we've got some, 4.3 million barrels a day going into the United States. What you'll see with the tariffs that have been imposed today, 30 billion with another 125 billion to come in 21 days, is focused on things that we can easily replace, that we can find other sources, whether it's Canadian sources, whether it's sources from Mexico, whether it's sources internationally. differently. And the problem that American producers are going to face is that as we start changing those supply chains, those can get stuck, and it's hard to go back to relying on an unreliable trading partner. So I would say the sooner this gets resolved, the better. We are your best customer. We buy more goods and services from you than anyone else in the world. And so when you put these tariffs in place, it means that we're just going to buy less.
But Alberta's Premier, Danielle Smith, ain't no claw-swinging alley cat like Ontario's Doug Ford. He's on a whole other level. And Donald Trump better watch out, because Doug is...
You know, to the president, I'm a different type of cat. I'll fight tooth and nail. I'm not going to roll over, and I've directed the LCBO, we're the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world, to remove every bit of U.S. alcohol off the shelves. I'll fight right to the death. Not that there's going to be any deaths, but, you know, the economy. I will go on. He has no idea. He has absolutely no idea. If they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do everything, including cut off their energy, with a smile on my face.
That would be an act of war. The American booze is already coming off the shelves. So, in Alberta, you have private liquor stores, but the government is the wholesaler. Mm-hmm. In Ontario, the government is the wholesaler for liquor and the retailer. Now, we have private beer and wine sales, but not private liquor sales. So, Doug Ford is really pushing that he's taking Kentucky bourbon off the shelves, along with California wine and Tito's handmade vodka out of Texas. And that is really annoying the governors and the senators and so on down in the United States. Now, so let's take the example of Kentucky bourbon. Well, the governor is a Democrat. That doesn't help you with Donald Trump. The senior senator is Mitch McConnell, who Trump hates. But Rand Paul is the junior senator from Kentucky.
I know my good friend, the governor of Kentucky. He's losing his mind right now. I said, you better talk to your president. Mitch McConnell, senior senator from Kentucky, they're losing their mind.
He doesn't like this either. And he's not all in on Trump world, but he's aligned with them on many things, works with them on many things, and he is in the middle of saying the tariffs on Canada don't make sense. This is what we need, whether it's Rand Paul or conservative media commentators like Ben Shapiro. We need Republicans, conservatives in the United States to speak up.
We purchase over $1 billion of alcohol, 3,600 products, 35 states. It's going to hit them. We would call them the kitchen table issues. Then we're going to cancel Starlinks right away from Elon Musk. Not that $100 million makes a difference for them, but it's principle.
So Ontario buys more than $1 billion worth of booze from the Americans every single year. All those future contracts shut down. The current stuff is being taken off the shelves. It'll be warehoused. If they can sell it later on down the road when the tariffs are gone, they will. If not, the government's willing to eat the cost. Nova Scotia is doing the same. British Columbia has said that they will take off alcohol from red states. Ford is asking every premier, every liquor board across the country to do the same thing.
What's next? With Trump, it's like reading tea leaves in a burning bag. He's unequivocal, yet unpredictable. Markets only started taking this seriously once the tariffs became real, tanking after months of shrugging it off.
And yeah, we're probably going to keep booing the American anthem. But let me tell Americans, we're not booing you. We're not booing your teams. We're not booing your players. We're booing a policy that is designed to hurt us.
I can't for the life of me figure out why this guy's attacking his closest neighbors, allies, and friend. A tariff on Canada is a tax on Americans. And I'm going to repeat that on NBC, CNN, Fox News, CNBC.
Last week, Trump ordered a probe into new lumber tariffs. On March 12th, 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum kick in. April 2nd brings reciprocal tariffs and new levies on foreign agricultural products.
Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer. Who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you.
This isn't just about fentanyl or trade deficits. It's about reshaping North America's economy to Trump's vision, whatever the cost. For Canada, it's an existential fight. For the US, it's a gamble that could backfire. And for all of us, it's just the beginning.
You know, to the president, I'm a different type of cat. I'll fight tooth and nail. I'm not going to roll over and I will go out. He has no idea. He has absolutely no idea.
Hello, Donald Trump?